Hey, welcome to Fix It for Josh's Sake. Today I'm working on this is a 1981 Yamaha Maxim. The front brake started being sticky and not working real well. So I'm gonna take you along as I take it apart, clean it up, put it back together. So yeah, watch along as I fix it for Josh's sake. So up here at the handlebar, when we pull this, it's stiff. Things aren't working real good. So I'm gonna pull the cover off here and check the brake fluid in here. I'm assuming this needs a clean out. And then I already kind of got a head start here coming around the front. Took the caliper off, and that is just one bolt. It pulls out from the bottom, and that is a 12 millimeter right there, which comes out right there, pops out, and then this can fall away. So that's the system we're working with. First off, taking some shop rags and laying them out in here, because as soon as we crack this open, there's a pretty good chance that brake fluid is going to leak out around there. And while this bike is old and decrepit, I just don't want a bunch of brake fluid falling down into the, wiring harness and top of the motor and everything. Next, I'm going to get my trusty screwdriver here and carefully pop those loose. Now, these are pretty stubborn, and the reason why I'm checking them is because I don't want to strip anything out. So a couple of things are going to probably happen here. I am going to get myself an impact driver, and I'm also going to spray some penetrating oil on these to help loosen them up. These are some pretty crusty screws, and they're about as fun as pulling a tooth, but I got those out of there. Here's the impact driver that I'm using, with a little, I think this is a 12-ounce ball peen hammer. And make sure you keep that pressure straight down into the screw as you tap on this, and that spring inside of there helps pull these rusty screws out. All right, with the screws out, she's pretty snug. We're going to give it a wrap with the screwdriver here. Try that trick, kind of like how you break out float bowls off of carburetors, that kind of thing. We'll see if this... Yeah, okay. Now, moment of truth. I have no idea what's going on in here. Let's find out what we got. Okay. Ooh, she's crusty. Very, 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 very crusty. Well, we got a rubber boot there. That's good. This is such a great example of why you got to change your brake fluid once in a while. See, brake fluid breaks down and turns into a bit of water at the top. And you can see all this rust in there is actually from the brake fluid breaking down. So we're going to flush this all out. So I got some good old classic .3 brake fluid. I'm going to fill this up, and I'm going to pull this lever a whole bunch, and what it's doing is it's pushing the clean brake fluid down through the system down into here, and I'm actually going to push this whole piston right out. I want this cylinder out of there. I want all fresh fluid to be in this caliper, all the way up this hose, around all the way up to this lever. Now, before I start working this lever too much, I do need to come down here to this caliper, and I need to get this ring clip that's on there, little metal ring clip, and this rubber boot off of there so we don't damage anything as we push that piston right out. So here's the ring clip and the rubber boot. The other thing I got to do is take out this clip that's down inside of there, just to be sure that it's clear and clean, so that this can come out. So there's the clip. It comes out pretty easy. All you got to do is take a screwdriver, stick it in there, and it'll pop right out. So I'm literally going to be running the lever up above until this pushes out. And when this pushes out, fluid is going to come out of here, and it's going to be a mess, and it's going to be like grimy, gloopy fluid. So make sure you have a pan to catch your brake fluid in. A moment of truth. We're going to pump a little bit here. Keep that going. I'm going to keep doing this, but I want to bring you guys down here. Oh, shoot. You can't even see from this way. Let's come around here. Okay. See the piston starting to push out? You can see it moving there. Okay. We're going to keep pumping. Yep. That's what we're going to do. See, it's coming back. It's retracting. That's a good sign. I just wanted the fluid out, so let's check our level here. Oh, yeah. We got a lot of fluid here. Okay. We're going to keep pumping at this until that piston pushes right out. Pumping. You can see it's moving a little bit each time. I just topped up my fluid. You can see that edge right there. It's pretty great. This is kind of a mess at the end. Sorry, I'm doing this one hand on the brake lever, one hand staring at this piston. It's getting real close here. All right. Oh, okay, ready? 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 It's gonna be a mess. Oh, yeah. I told you that stuff would be disgusting. It's kind of great to have the proof in the pudding. So this right here, I'm just gonna show you. You run your finger in here. That's the garbage that brake fluid decomposes into. It's like this weird rusty water and then thick goop. So I'm going to go in there. I'm going to clean that out really good. Let's inspect this. Okay, good news. There's no pitting on this. So this is 100% reusable. Once this is clean, that's reusable. The annoying part is you really do need to take that rubber O-ring that's right there. That needs to come out as well, and then that ring will need to be cleaned really good. Once that's all cleaned up, I will make sure I'm running brake fluid through it real well. I'm gonna make sure this bleed off valve is loose and turning, and then we'll be able to go back up top, put some fresh brake fluid in it, and bleed the brakes. Now that you got this all wiped off and it's nice and clean, I got all my other parts there, and I've got this wiped out inside there. It's pretty nice and clean. The next thing I'm going to do is grab, I got this little dental tool at some sort of thrift shop or something like that, but it works really nice to push underneath of that rubber O-ring and pop it out of there so I can clean that track. I know some people might think it's overkill, but that's the kind of gunk that gets built up underneath of that little O-ring. So I'm going to take my scraper, clean that out, wire brush it, and then it should be ready to put back together. Now that I got that nice and clean, I'm about ready to crack the, where is it? Bleed off screw right there. And then I'll put my pieces back together and start bleeding the system. I know from experience that it's kind of important to have yourself a brake line wrench. It's got more of a absolute grip. These bleeder bolts can get really tight, and I have unfortunately stripped these off thinking that a traditional open-end box end wrench would do it. So highly recommend getting yourself one of these, and this is a number 8 on this Yamaha Maxim. Now I'm about ready to put this back into the caliper, the piston cylinder back into the caliper. I do like to grab a little brake fluid here and rub it around on this piston. I just find that giving a little bit of the brake fluid room on the surface to make it slide, it makes it slip back into the caliper a lot easier. Now, provided I'm going to have my bleed off valve open so that the air pressure can just slide right back out. So my bleed off valve is open, and I'm going to use this C-clamp here to press that piston in. Now once that's pressed in and we're looking for the edge of the piston to be even with the edge of the caliper, now I can put the clip in the back up in there, and I can put the boot on and the wire ring on, and that is ready to put back onto the fork over here. So that boot sits around there pretty easy, and then that ring just stretches around, and make sure you get it down against the surface of the caliper there, and then we're going to snap this ring in, snap the clip in the back there. The clip goes so that the prong goes in towards the inside of the caliper. That other little prong that you see right here goes towards the piston, and then this part snaps in right here along the outside face of this caliper. When this caliper gets set back in there, the bolt here goes in up through, and then this gets ready to thread up into the fork here. But make sure you put this thick flat washer in right there before you thread it into here. So that has to be in there first. I'm over here on the right side now, and you can see here there's a slot in the bracket coming off the fork. Make sure that both of the brake shoes are up in there. in that slot. And then once this bolt is tightened in to the threads that are here in the aluminum bracket, that there is a lock washer and a lock nut on there. And this gets tightened very tight. Check your specs. It's something like 45 foot-pounds or something to that effect. So get that real tight. And then this is all buttoned up. I do have my bleeder valve still cracked so that I can come up here. And now I can put fresh brake fluid in and start pumping this to prime my brakes, get all the air bubbles out, and then we have a completely flush system. It takes a little bit of reach. I've been blessed with a 6 foot 2 inch frame, so I can reach here and then reach all the way down here, way around there to the bleeder valve, and crack that open as I, pump the lever and get the air out of there. This is all bled out now, and the nice clean brake fluid's in there. So I'm just going to wipe this off to make sure there isn't any grime or grit on the rim here, and put the cap back on. The cap was kind of grimy, so I used a wire brush to clean that off, and a rag as well, because we don't want to put any rust back into the system if we can help it. We want this all buttoned up nice and clean. Well, everything's back together, and the brakes are nice and firm now. I gave it the old, let's see if we can do this while we're sitting on it. You give it the rock test, and then you watch you feel it grab, and it's doing that. So happy to say that this is all primed and tuned up like it needs to be now. And yeah, another project in the books. Thanks for watching as I fix it for Josh's sake. If you found this helpful, found that this will give you some idea of what you're doing when you're checking out your brakes and cleaning them out, give me a thumbs up, give me a follow, give me a subscribe, share it with a friend, whatever. But have fun as you wrench on your stuff. Thanks for watching.